Welcome to Silicon Valley, where innovation was born in garages, shaped by rebels, and now controls the modern world. But how did a patch of farmland become the tech capital of Earth? Let's find out. If you love stories like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Every text you send, every photo you share, every app you swipe, they all trace back to one unlikely place. A stretch of land in Northern California, once covered in fruit orchards and quiet towns, now the beating heart of the global tech economy. This is the story of Silicon Valley, a story of garage tinkerers, rebellious engineers, billion-dollar gambles, and the unrelenting pursuit of the next big thing. How did this one place become the brain of the modern world? Before it was Silicon Valley, this was known as the Valley of Heart's Delight, a paradise of fruit farms stretching from the foothills to the bay. Apricots, plums, cherries, the perfect mix of sun, soil, and water made this land some of the most fertile in the world. But even among the orchards, change was brewing. In 1885, railroad tycoon Leland Stanford founded a university here in honor of his son. Stanford University was meant to power the next era of California's industrial growth. But no one could have predicted it would become the beating heart of global technology. World War II changed everything. The U.S. military needed cutting-edge technology, fast. Radar, communication systems, early computers, and they found a willing partner in Stanford. Stanford's dean, Frederick Terman, had a vision. Stanford could be more than a school. It could be the center of a new industrial ecosystem, where military research, academic brains, and entrepreneurial ambition fused into something entirely new. Terman encouraged his best students to stay local, launch companies, and work with the university, a formula that became the DNA of Silicon Valley. Two of Terman's students took his advice, Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard. In 1939, they set up shop in a tiny garage in Palo Alto, building audio oscillators and high-frequency testing equipment. This wasn't just the start of Hewlett-Packard. It was the birth of the garage startup myth. The idea that you could start with almost nothing and change everything. That garage is now a historic landmark, often called the birthplace of Silicon Valley. But the real revolution began with a handful of rebels, the traitorous eight. They were brilliant engineers working at Shockley Semiconductor, led by William Shockley, a Nobel Prize winner but a notoriously difficult boss. Fed up, they quit all at once and founded Fairchild Semiconductor. At Fairchild, they perfected the silicon transistor, a tiny switch that would become the foundation of modern computing. This single invention, smaller, cheaper, faster than vacuum tubes, paved the way for everything from space probes to smartphones. Fairchild wasn't just a company, it was a school for founders. Its alumni didn't retire. They launched Intel, AMD, and dozens of other companies, turning the Valley into a perpetual startup machine. This culture, break away, innovate, disrupt, became the Valley's code. Venture capital firms, many born right here, fueled this loop of innovation, pouring billions into bold ideas, knowing most would fail, but a few would change the world. In 1976, two kids in a garage took that culture to a whole new level. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer, a clunky box of wires and wood. But it wasn't just a machine, it was a vision, computers for everyone, not just labs and corporations. Apple's success inspired an entire generation, from hobbyists to venture capitalists, and personal computers exploded onto the scene. In the 1990s, the Valley's next obsession arrived, the internet. Suddenly, anyone with a modem could change the world, and venture capital flooded in. Companies like Yahoo, Netscape, and a quirky search engine called Google grew at breakneck speed. But in 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. Billions vanished overnight, and the Valley's arrogance got a painful reality check. But failure is fuel in Silicon Valley. Out of the wreckage came the next revolutions: social media and mobile technology. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they didn't just build apps, they reshaped culture itself. And with the launch of the iPhone in 2007, The Valley didn't just live in your computer, it lived in your pocket. But power breeds scrutiny. Privacy scandals, tech addiction, misinformation. Silicon Valley isn't just making products anymore. It's making policy, culture, and enemies. Yet even now, new revolutions are brewing. From artificial intelligence to quantum computing, from biotech to space travel. The spirit of the Valley, relentless, restless, rebellious, won't stop. Because in Silicon Valley, the future isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. From apricots to algorithms, from garages to global dominance, this is Silicon Valley, where the next chapter is always being written.